there guys, it's Charlotte. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a different type of video. I'm doing a writing video, a writing vlog. And I'm very excited to do this because I've been meaning to do it for a while, and every time I make one I erase it or just don't end up uploading it. So it's always a bit out of date when I finally decide that I want to post one. And I'm going to finally tell you that, of course, if I'm doing a writing vlog, it's because I'm writing a book. This book has been a long time coming. I had the idea, the initial idea, back in 2011, 7 years ago. It's a long time ago. And I had this idea after writing another book. I started a book when I was 13, I finished it when I was 17. I read it chapter by chapter, on and off, online, and I got some good feedback. But I decided to write something completely different, a fantasy. The other one was more of like a romantic YA book, contemporary YA. And so yeah, I dived into fantasy. So I was still in high school, I was making these character sheets and everything. And the idea just stuck with me. The characters stuck with me, the world I was building stayed with me. But I started writing a draft. And I wasn't fully happy with it. I know first drafts are always horrible. Pretty much always, unless you're like a writing goddess or god. But my first draft was just horrible and I didn't like it. So a few months ago, I just started to rewrite everything I had written from scratch. And so I'm only at 17,000 words in my book after 7 years. But I'm actually quite happy that I didn't write further and I kind of waited, because the more I grew as a person, the more my story developed and became more complex and more interesting. And I think if I'd written it 7 years ago, I would have completely butchered it and it was not going to be what it is becoming now as I write it. So I'm actually quite happy with the fact that I waited, but I don't want to wait anymore. I just don't, because my dream since I was very young, since I was 13, if not younger, I want to write books. I want to get my books published traditionally. I don't really mind if they never become popular books. I just want to see them on a shelf in a bookstore and say, I wrote that book and I managed to get it published. And I would just be so proud of myself for achieving that. That's kind of the idea. So I don't want to wait anymore to write my book. I want to finish the first draft of my book by December 31st of this year. That is my personal goal to myself. That's the goal I set myself in January. You know, people do New Year's resolutions. I had some little ones to work on, but this was my one big goal. We have 3 more months to go, and I only wrote 17,000 words. So hopefully I get my 80 to 90, maybe 100,000 words done before 2019 starts. So I really plan on trying. It's not even trying, I need to make time to write. I need to just dive into it. Even if the draft is crap, I need to just move forward with my story, because if I have something written, I can always go back and edit it. If I don't write it, I'll never have it done. And that's something I need to try and remind myself. And yeah, so my goal is to finish the first draft of my book this year, so that next year I can edit it, send it to beta readers, critique partners, and maybe hopefully send it off to agents. Yeah. So the thing is, my book is the first book in what I hope will become a trilogy. I initially started it off as a one book kind of thing, and then I saw that the story was growing quite quickly and it was soon going to be 2 books, but then I sort of planned out the big lines. It was very vague, but I really planned out the big lines of my story, and it turns out it's going to have to probably be 3 books. The more I think about it, the more I'm certain that will be the case. Because I will have quite a cast of characters, I need to develop the world, and I need to develop everything I want to in there, and so I think it will have to be a trilogy. Of course, that means I hope that a publisher will eventually buy my book, so that it will become a trilogy, because I'm scared that if no one buys my first book, I may not have the courage to finish or even start the second or third books. So that's just my one thing. But we're not there yet. Let's just finish the first draft for now. So yeah, I'm happy I waited 7 years, but I still don't want to wait anymore, because if I wait longer, I'll just make excuse after excuse after excuse, and I'll never get there, and I'll keep saying, oh, I wish I wrote it, and one day I'll regret not actually doing it and getting it published. I also want to do this for myself so I can move on to other projects, because I have so many other book ideas in my mind. I have files full of ideas, but I just can't let myself go to them, because this is a project that has been with me for 7 years. That's insane. 7 years. It's just been with me, and every day I think about it. Even if I don't write every day, there's always a part of the story that pops up in my mind, a new idea that comes up. So it's really with me constantly. And that's 7 years is almost a decade. We're getting close to a decade there. So I need to get it out. I need to tell the story. Hopefully one day to share it with readers. I really hope that's the goal one day, even if it's just 3 readers. I need to share it with someone. Yeah, and I think the one big thing holding me back is that I'm scared that I'm going to ruin the story when I write it. But I can always edit it and get feedback from people, so it's not a very rational fear, but it's there. So yeah, that's sort of what I'm doing right now. So right now I don't really feel comfortable sharing with you what the story is about, except that it's a fantasy. And I think that's as far as I'm gonna go. It does not have a title yet, despite the fact that I've had this idea for 7 years. The title does not exist yet. No, maybe it will come at the very end of my writing. I don't know. But for now, no title. It's a fantasy, no title, trilogy probably. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to give too much away because it's still at 17,000 words, although the idea is very clear in my head. But that's all I'm gonna say, I think. So, yeah. If you're writing something right now, let me know down below. Let me know what the hardest part for you is. For me, it's very clearly just sitting down to write. Once I'm writing, it's okay. It's just sitting down to write. Thank you so much for watching. I will be seeing you again very soon, and happy writing. Bye.